The launch of the National Business and Disability Network in Zimbabwe. Across Zimbabwe, millions of people work every day to build a better future. But for many people with disabilities, that future has remained out of reach. However, all hope is not lost, as there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel. In a landmark move to advance workplace inclusivity, Zimbabwe has launched its first National Business and Disability Network, a pioneering initiative to boost employment opportunities for people with disabilities in the private sector, supported by Side Savers and International Labour Organization and the Employers Confederation of Zimbabwe.
This dedication to making sure no one is left behind aligns with the core principles of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, particularly SDG number 8, which promotes decent work and economic growth, recognizing that the full inclusion of persons with disabilities in the workforce is essential for sustainable economic development. It also supports SDG 10 on reducing inequalities and SDG 17, which emphasizes partnerships for achieving the goals. This historic moment would not have been possible without the collective effort and dedication of Side Savers and MCOs, and I want to recognize my mother, Ma'am Kweo. I think your commitment, this is your baby. I think at least for us, even in the office, we never knew that there were these disability networks. I think when we started talking about it, and I think today we can celebrate not only yourself, but I think all those that you've worked with, I think to get to this event today. The Business Disability Network will provide businesses with the tools and resources that they need to be more inclusive and responsive to the needs of persons with disabilities. Inclusivity is just not an obligation, because it is about human rights, but it is an opportunity for businesses to thrive and contribute to a more equitable society. Benefits of embracing inclusion include access to talent, increased innovation, higher engagement and retention of staff, enhanced reputation, and benefits for everyone, including the persons with disability. Today's journey began in early 2023 when Side Savers approached the ILO for technical support and guidance. While progress has been made in advancing disability rights in Zimbabwe, it was recognized that more needed to be done to ensure that persons with disabilities could fully participate in economic opportunities. And this vision and I think this ambition aligns very well with what the ILO is doing in Zimbabwe through the December Country Program. And as part of the UN team, we have I think maybe 3 or 4 joint programs on disability, funded through various funding partners, including the UN PRPD. Just some numbers in terms of globally. About 15% of the world's population are persons with disabilities, and 80% of them are of working age. And I think this is the reason why this network needs really to exist, and also to advance and work towards enhancing access to economic opportunities, including jobs for persons with disabilities. When you look at women face particularly more limiting barriers. Some of it is attitudes for those that do not have disabilities. Some of it is physical barriers. I don't know if, I think here there is access for persons with disabilities. I think it's okay. But some workplaces, some buildings don't have this access ramps for persons with disabilities. In a recent study that we've just concluded, we've also realized that there is persons with disabilities earn 12% less per hour than other employees. And on average, 3/4 of this gap cannot be explained by anything other than differences in education, age, type of work. So it was then maybe it's safe to conclude that it's because persons with someone has disabilities. That's why they are not being paid less than other employees. In lower middle income countries, this disability wage gap is much larger. I think that includes Zimbabwe. It's about 26%, and almost half of that cannot be explained by social economic differences. So I think we recognize that at least in Zimbabwe we have this big challenge. Looking at the latest labor force survey results from Zinstat, about 1% of all employed persons in Zimbabwe have a disability. And I think our work is cut out. The ministry is here represented. We have even a bigger challenge in that we don't have the jobs. So you can think that the fewer jobs that are or opportunities that are existing, who gets an opportunity to get to them. And for persons with disabilities, I think that even becomes very limiting. When the opportunities are quite scarce. The launch of this network in Zimbabwe is quite timely, as the ILO will be hosting the ILO Global Business Disability Network, the 11th annual conference in Geneva, titled From Margin to Mainstream Disability Business in November in Geneva, Switzerland. This event will welcome new members to the network, and Zimbabwe will also be the new kid on the block. The conference will showcase best corporate practices in disability inclusion, present the latest global and local business initiatives, and offer opportunities for informal networking, allowing peer networking from international peers. As we launch the network today, let us reaffirm our commitment to the principles of inclusivity, equality, and shared prosperity. The SDGs remind us that true progress can only be achieved if we ensure that no one is left behind. Some say nothing for us without us. The work of the network will be guided by the leadership of the Disability Committee and supported by our partners. And the ILO is committed and will remain available to assist where we can.
This initiative mirrors the global-led business and disability network and aims to dismantle barriers to equitable employment. With an estimated 9% of Zimbabwe's population with disability, the need for such an initiative has been more pressing.
You have seen that the promotions, it's very rare to see a disabled person being promoted, because to them they will be thinking, so they no longer then consider the competence. So this marks an important epoch, milestone in our endeavor as working class madam executive director, because it's an eye-opener. We are all equal, and it is also in sync with the overarching vision 2030, where leaving no one behind and no place behind. Let's not just have business talk shops. That must be done. This is what we are saying. In the workplaces, workers' committee chairpersons, secretaries, those positions must also be occupied with people working in those companies that are also having disability.